And our District Governor Larry Lohman. I do want you to know that you have been a vibrant part of this club, and he's doing such a tremendous job as our district governor. As the president of the club, he's wonderful about nudging me and guiding the whole district. And I'm sure I'm not the only president that he has to sort of shepherd along, but I really do appreciate his leadership. And he's just one of those people who is always so kind and wonderful and encouraging. And he really does just embody the four-way test. So I'm gonna just have Larry come up and talk to us about what's happening in the district.
All right. Let's see how close I can get this mic to my mouth. Is this about right? All right. Well, it is great to be here. Thank you, President Kathy, for the introduction. I don't think that I do shepherd President Kathy along that much, but it is always nice when I get a phone call and get a question. So, especially when I can answer it. So, you know, this is probably the most special visit I have of the year. Being able to come back to my own club and, you know, shed some light on maybe what our district's doing, you know, how I got here, and who else in our club here may be heading in this direction. Because I don't believe I'm the last one, not by any means. I see several people who are doing great things throughout the district already. So I do want to congratulate Grayson. It is a great honor to have you here today and as Student of the Month. I hope that when you get into high school that you will join our Interact Club at the high school level. It's a club sponsored by Rotary. It's similar to what Key Club was at the high school. Matter of fact, our Interact Club did take over all of the projects that Key Club was doing before they unfortunately closed their doors. So welcome. I hope to see you all again here at our club meetings. So, all right. You know, it's been a long journey. I started out in Rotary, as you all know, with my father as a young kid in the Rotary Club of Cambridge. And I did a lot of service projects. I did a lot of fundraisers with the club. And when I was in high school, I, you know, could go around my community. I could talk about Rotary. I could talk about it around the high school, and everybody knew what Rotary was. You know, it was kind of interesting. You know, I didn't think anything of it back then. It just, everybody knew what Rotary did. They knew what they did in the community. As I've gotten older and gotten into, you know, the club here and started talking to different communities and stuff and mentioned Rotary, I find that less and less do I get the acknowledgement of individuals knowing what Rotary is or what they do or what we do. And, you know, I've over the years, I've looked at it and tried to figure out why. And the one big thing that comes to my mind is somewhere along the line, we as Rotarians have forgot how to tell our stories. You know, we do a great job, don't get me wrong, telling each other our stories. We come to our meetings, we go to district events, we have our Christmas parties, we have our auction, and we tell each other exactly what's going on. And, you know, we share our stories and everything, but we don't get them out to the communities. You know, take a look in the newspaper, follow the newspapers and see how often Rotary pops up in the newspaper anymore. Back in the 80s, 90s, it was in there probably weekly, if not once or twice a month. There was always a story about what Rotary was doing. So as I looked at this year and looked at what my focuses would be for the district, my major focus is trying to help clubs tell their stories. The way that we are going to do that from the district standpoint is we have a public image committee, and, we've started building that up a little bit more. And we've asked them to focus on getting to the clubs for special events, service projects, or even just special guests who are speaking at their clubs. Join the club meetings, take photos for the clubs, help write the stories. And they have the resources to get out to all the different media sources throughout the Northeast Ohio district. So they're going to help get those stories out for our clubs. What I've done is I've given our club presidents an option, as I went through their training this past year with them, of how to do club visits. One is doing the traditional club visit like this, where I come in and I, let you know what's going on in the district. And then, ask you guys for help and try to get you guys involved in the district and stuff like that. But the other one, and there's one that I highly recommended, and this doesn't just have to be for a club visit, but have me to a service project. Ask me to come out to a service project, and hopefully I'm available on those days, because I have been asked from multiple clubs, and unfortunately already had commitments. But if I'm available those days, I'll be at the service projects. And with that, I will bring the public image committee, or at least a member of our district, with us to help take photos. And by doing that, makes it so all the members of the club can be active in the project and not having to take photos. And also they'll be there to help write stories and get those out. And again, it gives the members time to actually focus on the service project and their benefactors. So that is the main concern this year. And main focus of mine is trying to get the clubs to tell their stories again. And everything that we do should be out there. And I'm not just going to have your story. If it's a club story here, it's just not going out to Kent or Portage County. We are going to release it to the whole district. We are going to put it into every media source that we can. And the more people see Rotary, a lot of times they may not remember the actual club that's doing it, but they'll see Rotary, they'll see that, oh, gee, they're doing these great events for, the local DD or the school or whomever it might be, or doing a project with like us in El Salvador. And then you're going to get people asking, how do I help? How do I get involved? And those are going to be the best leads that we can get, because those individuals are already focused on service. And we bring those individuals in and we keep them engaged. We will grow our numbers. We will have a much stronger club as we move forward. So that's our number one area of focus this year. The second one is, and you all know that I really focused on our youth services as president of this club, and through any organization I've ever been a part of. And so the second one obviously is around youth services. Now, I didn't have a great idea on what I wanted to do. So I reached out to one of our individuals in our district, which is Chelsea Talty. She is our Interact chair for the district, and asked her ideas and asked what could be impactful for our district. And, it was very good. I mean, without a blink of the eye, she's like, I got an idea. She goes, I've been thinking about this for years. And what she came up with was a alumni style association for our youth. Because a lot of times our youth, when they graduate from high school, that's a lot of times the last time we hear from them. We don't keep in touch with a lot of our youth as they move on to their next level of life, education, whatever it might be. So we want to get this rolling. We're going to start with Interact. And we're going to, keep track of those students, keep up with them. But even more importantly, before they ever graduate, we are going to help direct them to the next level of Rotary. So we are going to help them to look at whether they're going to a university, if there's a Rotaract program there, if they're going on to a tech program, or just going on to, into the business world. We are going to help them find the next level of Rotary, and keep them engaged. So that is the next focus, is focusing on our youth and keeping them in Rotary as they move forward. What we'd like to do is to, move that from Interact and start including our RILA program, our four-way test speech contest students, our youth exchange. You know, we do have a lot of youth services throughout the district. So we want to make sure that we keep our students, and we want to make sure that they become Rotarians and that they continue to serve like we do. So that is our second focus this year. We do have a lot of events that have gone on. We had our foundation gala a couple weeks ago. Coming up, we will have our district conference, and that's going to be April 22nd and 23rd. It'll be at the Sheridan Suites in Cuyahoga Falls. We are just starting to plan it, so keep your ears open, because it's going to be a fun time. We're looking at doing some things different, maybe having some beer tasting, maybe. We'll see. There's going to be some good food. Roger Sidoti is heading up one of our party rooms. So, and it's going to, I've dubbed it a party room because of what he's been telling me. So he's already planning. So we know where that leads. So we have a lot of great things going on in the district. Right now we do, along with from our foundation gala, we do have a service project still going on that we did for the foundation gala, which our foundation gala, if not everybody knows, our theme was Warm Hands, Warm Hearts. And we were collecting mittens, gloves, hats, scarves, socks to donate out to different organizations throughout all the district. We are donating to every single cluster in the district. Will have a donation going to it. But we are collecting until Christmas. So if anybody does want to support that, feel free to get with me. I will collect them and get them to Julie Brandel. Most of us know Julie, so you could actually get her the items as well if you wish. So looking around the room, we have a lot of people here that, as I said, are involved in the district. You know, and I guarantee if I go around the room mentioning every single person, I'm going to miss somebody. So I don't want to hurt feelings. But, you know, this year, you know, a couple of key people, though, because they're chairs, Will Underwood with the four-way speech test contest. This is his third year. So this is going to be finally an in-person contest at Theodore Roosevelt High School. So we're looking forward to that and having that going for our students. You know, we do, as I already introduced, I have my vice governor here today, Beverly Gent Skorzinski. She is a past district governor. She actually was governor my presidency year, so in 1819. So it was a great year. Somehow I ended up in this position, and I won't say what people called me and said, you know what, you might want to just interview. It'd be good to go through the process. You may not get it, but it'd be good to go through the process. And I don't think that was Bev at all that may have said something like that. And here I am. So, but so we have a lot of great things going on. And with that, you know, I'd like to open it up to questions, concerns, or just ideas of how we can move forward from the clubs. So with that, I'll open it up to you guys. All right, so the question was, how many clubs do I visit? What is my schedule like during my governorship? Is that correct, Jim? All right, so clubs, we have currently 51 clubs. We have 50 clubs or actually 50 clubs and 2 satellite clubs, so 52, I believe, in the district ranks right now. We have our 2 satellite clubs are interesting. Our one is a satellite of Northampton, Cuyahoga Valley, and that is an E-club. And so that they meet twice a month virtually, and then they have a third time a month for a service project. And those are individuals just from within the district. Our other satellite club is with the Mentor Club, and had part of their membership who were having a hard time getting to lunchtime meetings. So they set up a morning meeting. So their satellite club is a sunrise satellite club. So it's one way to look at, keeping members engaged. As far as my visits, I have currently done, I think this is my 10th visit. I've done about 5 of those as service projects. I still got a long way to go. A lot of the clubs I've talked to this point are holding off to spring, hoping that they can get a service project in spring and have me to a service project. So. Anybody else? Lee? So I don't have to keep repeating.
I'm just curious if you have a date set for Grill for Good.
Well, I can't say that I do, but hopefully the JCs do. And, usually that's the second Saturday of June. And unfortunately, I will be in Houston at that point for the international conference. I would love to be there, but being that my governorship this year, I kind of have to go to the conference. I'm hoping to be there next year. We'll see. It's either that or I'll be in Melbourne, Australia, but I saw it.
Maybe share with us, you've had time to prepare for governorship, something that took you completely by surprise as you took the keys and started driving.
Something that took me by surprise. This one's kind of hard because the great thing about being in this district governor line and being with the governors that I've been with that preceded me is we have a transition committee that meets and really goes through exactly what to expect, all the processes well ahead of time. So I've been in this line for 2.5 years, and from day one, I was learning. So I'm not sure much took me by surprise as I entered as governor. I think probably the surprise is how well our governor line trains their successors. So.
Thanks, Larry. I had the exact same question as Asa, but I have another question. Can you tell us how things are going on the grants committee in the district level? Because I know there's been some adjustments and revisions and modifications. I just wonder how that's going.
The grants committee is, let me get out of the way of the speakers. All right. So the grants committee is probably one of our busiest committees in the district. Our grants and our membership committees are probably our 2 busiest. But grants seems to move along, pretty well. We've had some changes. Unfortunately, funding to the Rotary Foundation over the past few years seems to have decreased a little bit throughout the district. So we're getting a little bit less money coming back to the district right now. So we've had to adjust what the matches are at the district level. Rotary International or the Rotary Foundation has changed their matching structure a little bit. And a lot of that is due to the excessive need for emergency grants and grants to help with the COVID crisis, some of the earthquakes and tsunamis that have hit around the world. So, but I think that's all going to be on a rebound. We here in our district, I believe last year, even though it was a pandemic year, our giving to the foundation was very good. And this year, I think we're on the same track. So I think moving forward, we will start seeing those funds to increase again. It tends to go in cycles. So.
I brought my own microphone here. I've got so much to tell you. You mentioned just before lunch, something that kind of surprised me, saying that during the COVID period, there were a number of clubs that actually saw increases in membership. How do you explain that?
Well, our pandemic wasn't all bad for Rotary. It gave us the ability to really step out of the box and try some new things. It gave us, whether we like it or not, Zoom and virtual meetings. I don't much care for them because it just means I got more meetings more often, and I can't escape them. But it made it so individuals who are sometimes not able to get to a meeting due to various reasons, whether it's work related, health related, or whatnot, were able to just go to their computer, log on, and be part of the meeting. So we did have quite a few clubs this year that did not see a decrease in members, but saw an increase due to that fact. So one of the things that we've been encouraging from the district level is to try to do hybrid meetings like we are doing here. And that way you can still keep those individuals involved in the club. The other thing, if you look at the pandemic, I'll add on for this, is the pandemic year, we saw one of our narrowest losses of membership that we've seen in many, many years. For the last 5 years, our gap to coming back to even on membership gain and loss has being narrower and narrower, but we took a huge jump this last year under the leadership of past District Governor Pat Myers. And we only lost 56 members total, obviously there's some numbers playing around, but at the end of the year, we were 56 members down. Whereas the year prior to that, we had about 100 more than that. We were about 150, 146 down the year prior. So we're getting closer and closer. We're closing that gap. And I think it is because clubs are starting to get a little bit more out into the communities, getting more visible. So anybody else? Oh, David has one. Or Sue.
What were some of the service projects you attended?
A few of the service projects I attended, and probably one of the most meaningful ones was the first one. It was with Chagrin Highlands Club. And this was a facility for individuals with mental disabilities. But they did a sports challenge. And basically what that entailed was the Rotarians came in, we set up games and puzzles and coloring books. And the benefactors, showed up and we played basketball with them. We bowled with them. Some of them, were only able to color or do puzzles. But we were active with them for a couple hours, and just seeing the smiles on their faces and how they were coming up and just so happy to be with each other and not be quarantined from the world from pandemic again. Being there with us, it was just a great day. Got to meet a couple of them and really got to know their stories. It was great. Other things I've done is out in Wadsworth, and this is something that our club might want to think about, is they do what they call a parade of flags every November. So for Election Day and Veterans Day, is they do a fundraiser, whereas they kind of sell flags and sort of lease them is really what they do. But they take them out and they put them in the yard for the individuals, as well as they will do, if there's a veteran there, they will do a plaque up, and it's a fundraiser for them. And they raised from that fundraiser this year about $50,000. So it's something to look at. It gives pride pride to the community, and especially it gives some acknowledgement of our veterans in our communities. So other than that, I've done some leaf raking, and I was supposed to do tree planting last weekend, but the trees all got planted before I got there. The first shift, this was up in Hudson, the first shift planted 528 trees in a 3 or 4 hour period, and there was nothing left for the second shift when we came in. So Yeah. So, all right, David?
Larry, we have a question from online. What is your most memorable experience so far and the biggest challenge as district governor?
Well, most memorable experience so far? Wow.
Speaking to this club, of course.
I was just about ready to say that, yeah. You know what, I think it's not just one thing, it's everything that's gone on this year. Because I can't choose just one. It's how much, looking around the district, and whenever I've gone out and asked for help, people have been willing to step up right away. And, some of the things were not easy to accomplish, the tasks, but it didn't stop them. And, I think that's probably my most memorable is the help that you get from Rotarians. What was the second part of that? Biggest challenge? I don't think I've reached that yet. I think my biggest challenge was last year, during my governor-elect year, as we were going through and getting ready for All Ohio Pets, the Pets training or President-elect training for our presidents, which we weren't sure until December whether we were going live or virtual, and then had to flip to virtual at the last minute and totally revamp our show, as well as I helped in negotiating us out of the hotel contracts. I think that's the most challenging thing I've had in this district governor line at this point, so.
Are there any other questions? Oh, sure.
So you answered my question, which was going to be what is a project that you would recommend for us? But I just want to say, as a Rotarian who's been here under 10 years, you've been incredibly inspirational. I've enjoyed going out to the district events, seeing how you've changed and the things that you've done. And so I'm really proud of you. I just want to say that. Sorry.
Here, I agree.
Thank you very much.
Well, as you know, Governor Larry, we have a history in this club or a tradition of having a responder. And today the responder is going to be Bill Childers. But before he comes up, I realized I had a few announcements I'd failed to make. So pardon me. One thing is, and I had it on the slide up there, it was mentioned about the mitten project and the Warm Hands, Warm Hearts. And it reminded me that part of the story walk project that we're doing in the story, Dragon has a new coat and he ends up giving it to somebody in need. And we are collecting coats for people in need in our community. And at all the stores that downtown that have one of the pages of the book, up there's one of the slides has a picture of it. There are boxes where you can donate the coats. So if you have coats for kids of any size, adults, kids, whatever, please consider washing them, having them cleaned, whatever's needed, and then bringing them and donating them. I did clean out a coat closet on Saturday. So much amazing how much more room I have in that closet. The board meeting that I was going to have next week for sort of a board holiday event, I'm going to be postponing. I'm going to be out of town next week due to some family things that I need to be there for. And so David Myers, President-elect Dave, we're running the meeting next week and we'll have that get together. So I'll be out emailing the board. This morning we had a really nice breakfast for some of our new members. And so thank you for the new members and the board members who came to that. We will be having another one after the first of the year. One of the things that was mentioned though was asking us to all please wear our name tags. And I failed to mention that at the beginning because either our new members and sometimes the members who have been here a long time, we don't remember everybody's name. So it's good for us to wear our name tag. So please, when you come in, put on your name tag. And if you left it someplace and you can't find it, then fess up and we'll get you a new one. And so that's it. And now, Bill.
I have one more thing, Kathy. So back during past District Governor John Reyes's year, and past President Mark Maloney's year. Past RI President Mark Maloney started a new tradition, and he added a new piece to our wardrobe, and that was themed socks. So ever since, we've been giving a pair of themed socks to the president of the club. So
That's special.
yep. Woo! So now it'll be the club's responsibility to make sure she's sporting these at our special events.
I look
What? There you go. President, thank you, President Kathy, and congratulations on another Rotary item. Well, hey, Larry, thanks so much for being here with us today. I would like to acknowledge also Grayson, our student of the month, and past District Governor Beverly for being here with us today. And what a great attendance we had for you, Larry. Yeah, good job. Good, good job, everybody. Thanks for showing up. Hey, and so Kathy, right behind you is our club's banner that has our previous two district governors, Leland Keller, Gordon Keller, Larry Lohman. You're not named Keller. What's up with that? But so we'll I'm sure be updating that. We have the home club for our district governor there, and I would just I recall the year I was president, Larry was the Rotarian of the Year that year, and I loved doing the intro for that. And I just think, wow, you've really taken on an awful lot. And we really appreciate your leadership, your dedication, your commitment, and your willingness to invest an awful lot of yourself and your time. You've traveled internationally for our club a couple of times now that I can think of, and then all the work you've done with the grants and getting us with Carol Creamy, so much resources to help people in other parts of the world. And between that and what was it, Grill for Good, it's remarkable. And I know our club is thrilled that you're the president this year, and we're happy to support you and help you in all your efforts for our district. So thank you, Governor Larry.
All right, woo! All right, and we're going to close with the four-way test. At the bottom, there you go. Okay, so closing with the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thanks for being here. Next week, it's the Roosevelt Aces, so it's going to be a great